Hi, guys. Hey, how's everybody doing? Gather round. Hey, you know what? I hope you had a great, fantastic Christmas. I had a great Christmas. It was phenomenal. I was putting down all the stuff on my tree, and suddenly I thought, whoa, wait, I gotta stop. This actually helps me tell the story today. So we're going to look for something, because it's really what the story is kind of about. Let me explain. See, Israel was being taken care of by God. He was doing a great job. Anytime there was any kind of trouble or enemies came along, then he would send guys come in who were kind of like, well, like sheriffs and judges. They would take care of everything. And they'd come in and they'd go take care of the enemy, and they'd just take care of them all real quickly. And they just did a phenomenal job. Well, Israel at the time had one sheriff. His name was Samuel. There was one problem with Samuel. Samuel was getting really old. He was still able to fight and still able to make things happen, but yeah, he was getting a little old. And so the people of Israel said, "Look, instead of having these judges, these sheriffs, what we'd really like to have is we want a king." God says, "Whoa, you don't need a king. I'm your king." They said, "No, we want a king. We want a king." And so they started throwing tantrum. "We want a king. We want a king. We want a king. We want a king. We want a king." God's like, "All right, fine. If you want a king, you can have a king." So he tells Samuel, he says, "I want you to go find a particular guy. His name is, well, I think his nickname was Moose, because he was the biggest guy in the whole land. He was a big, tall guy. Big, herking guy. Moose." Well, actually, his name was Saul, but for now, we're just going to call him Moose. And so Samuel says, "All right." So he anoints him with oil and says, "You're going to be the new king. Now I want you to come, and I want to introduce you to all of Israel so that you can be our great and mighty king." Yeah, but instead of being great and mighty, Samuel, when he got up to introduce him, he says, "And now, pronouncing your new king." No one. And he didn't show up. He was scared to death. He was hiding somewhere on this tree. Moose is hiding. Moose are those things with antlers. I want you to see if you can help me find him, because he's somewhere around here. So help me figure this out, all right? Now help me look and see if we can find Moose somewhere. If you guys see him, you just call out, and I'll stop, and I'll see if I can figure it out. And if you see him, let me know. Is he here? Here maybe. Maybe here. What about there? There. Man. Okay, call out if you see anything. If you see anything, you let me know. What about... Oh, maybe... I don't think that's right. How about down there? Right there. Somewhere around here. Oh, somewhere around here. It's gotta be somewhere. There's gotta be some place. Come on, Saul. Moose. Where are you? Gotta be around here somewhere. Not seeing him anywhere. Alright, well... You guys, what? Did you see him earlier? Really? Where? You're kidding. Oh, sure enough. Look at that. Yeah, that's crazy. That's right. I'm Saul. I'm king, and I'm scared. Well, needless to say, guys, definitely, he ended up being a good king for a little while, but eventually he ended up being a really bad king. Did some really bad stuff. Later on, you're going to hear a story later about a good king named David. But really, you know who's the best king of all of them? The really good king? It's God. God's our king. And in fact, eventually, he was such a good king that he sent his son. That's what the Christmas story was all about, was sending his son, who would end up being King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So until next week, hey, don't forget, God is an awesome king.